Since you guys keep asking me about my Procreate brushes whenever I pull up my iPad in my videos, I thought now is the time that I actually share them with you and explain how I use them. So first of all, you can get my brushes for free. I put them on my Gumroad along with my Photoshop brushes. And if you have been using my Photoshop brushes, you might also notice that some of the brushes are actually the same, but I optimized them for Procreate. So what happened late last year was that Procreate got an update that allowed you to get your Photoshop brushes down into Procreate. Now I did that with my basic brushes for Photoshop, but the brushes didn't transfer well directly into Procreate. Like the functionality actually wasn't exactly the same and they felt a lot different. So I spent some time, and especially in the past week, to optimize my brushes and create some entirely new ones as well, so that they fit with the Procreate. So these 10 brushes, I mean it's like 7 brushes with some screen tones, are my basic set that you can go get for free on my Gumroad. And now I'll just walk you through the brushes, tell you how I use them, how you can use them, and how you can easily make some slight changes to them so they better fit into what you're creating. So when you go in to download my brushes in Procreate, you will also find this sheet. It's just a quick little overview over the different brushes, and they all have names too. And you'll notice if you double click on one of them and you get all of these panels where you can like, oh, my face is showing in the reflection. Nice, nice. I have to work with that. If you go down to about this brush, you can see there's like my little icon and my artist signature, and you can at any time go in and reset the brush. So you can play around with everything and then reset it. Just don't create a new reset point, because then you won't be able to reset it back to mine. Just reset it if you feel like you messed up. So yeah, let's open a new blank canvas. I have one out here. So the first one is this one called Sketch and Soft Line Art. It is the same brush in my Photoshop kit that is called Soft Line Art and Hard Blending. Now I'm just calling it Sketch and Soft Line Art. It is what I consider to be my main brush. I use it for basically everything. I use it for line art, I use it for sketching, I use it for shading, I use it for, yeah, basically everything. So this is the one I will consider my main brush. So whenever I say I'm using my main brush, it's this one. Then why didn't you call it your main brush? Because I didn't. And the next one here is called Sharper Line Art. It is equivalent to the one in Photoshop called Harder Line Art and Hard Blending. And stop teasing me for giving these ridiculous names to my brushes, okay? I'm not always thinking when I create this stuff. But it makes more sense in Procreate, okay? It's called Sharper Line Art. It's basically the same brush as the one above, except I made it more sharp and less what's it called, like less sensitive to pressure. We can actually take a look at it. So the Sketch and Soft Line Art here, you can see under Timbre, it has like size changes in the end, whereas the Sharper Line Art has both in the beginning and in the end, and all the way in that it is. So you get more like a very sharp beginning and you get very sharp end, whereas this one is more blocky and has more of a sharp end. So you can see how there's also a size difference here, but basically this one is better for line art if you want crisp line art, but it's still not as crisp as, for instance, like a gel pen or something like that. So the next one is called Dry Brush and Blender. And this is the one I have in Photoshop called Dry Blender Brush. And the funny thing is, in Photoshop I don't actually really use it, but I use it a lot here in Procreate. It has just this nice transition, so it's actually better optimized for Procreate. And you can use it both as a brush and as a smudge tool. So if I pick out another color here, and I want to blend those two together, first of all, you can do it the traditional way. Pick up one color, color softly over the other, pick up that new color, blend it together like this, and then have like this smooth transition in the end. Yeah, so this is the manual way of doing it, okay? But you could also use it as a blender, and then you tap this little icon here, and then you choose it. Whoops, it's already chosen. And I'm going to adjust the size here just a bit, and then you can actually use it as a blender too. Blending in Procreate is a little harder than in Photoshop, but you see it's basically the same result. So you can use it either as a brush or a blender. Blender! I don't know what's happening with my accent there. Okay, so next brush. I'm sorry, this is, by the way, really uninspiring canvas. Usually I would probably have used some actual art examples. Sorry that it's not really inspiring to look at. I'm just showing you how my brushes work. It's called brushes. I'm going to hide this there now, create a new layer, and we're moving on to the pencil. So this is a custom, just regular HB pencil brush that I made with a custom brush that I drew myself actually. And you can see it's really sharp, but if you make it bigger, you can also get like more like this. And if you tilt your pen, you can get like this texture. I really like to use this one for just when I like to sketch something really loosely and want that traditional feel. I'm drawing the exact same image here. It's just something, it's a motion that's in my hand. And then the way I programmed it, the way that I customized it, is that it has also like a very sharp end here, but you can also, if you want, make it sharp in the beginning. I just didn't have that because whenever I would start, I would actually often have like a circle like this and then go out like this, and it annoyed me that it was so thin there. So it's thin in the end instead. But you can customize it. You can customize it however you like. This is the way I like it. So it has a lot of functions depending on how you tilt it and how hard you press down. And yeah, I really like using this one. I think it's really nice. Oh yeah, last tip for this one. If you go in here and choose grain, you can see the texture that I have that appears. By the way, you can use this. This is a live preview. You can change that image if you want and put your own image in. And if you want to like make a new brush based on mine, just duplicate mine, and when you have made the changes to it that you would like to keep, create a new reset point, because then whenever you reset the brush, it goes back to the point that you created. So yeah. And then we have the scatter blender, and the scatter blender, you can actually also use it as a brush. It's not really the best brush. It looks like this. Yips. But I mainly use it as a blender. Oop. And I'm going to adjust the size, yeah. So it's kind of like a scatter blender like this. It has like this cloudy texture. It's based on my Smudge tool brush in Photoshop. As I said, it's a very different experience to blend in Procreate than in Photoshop, because the behavior of the brushes are so different. But I think it does a pretty decent job. But I actually mostly use the dry brush and blender for blending now, but sometimes when I need to do like big areas, I also use the scatter blender. And then there's the Big Softy, and the Big Softy is basically the where is it? There. The big soft airbrush from Procreate. I have made some slight alterations to the one that I have here, but it's basically the same. Mine is just a bit softer, but yeah, basically the same. And the same goes for the standard airbrush. This is not my brush. This is the standard airbrush in Procreate. I just put it in my kit so you didn't have to go like select all of the different classes out here, so you just have it. And I use this for all flat colors and hard blending. And then we have the screen tones. I'll make a new layer here. And I made the screen tones that way that when you paint your screen tones in and you paint on top of them again, I mean, there's some transparency there so it becomes more visible, but the pattern is the same. There's no new direction on the pattern as such. And it's just different sizes of screen tone dots that you can use for your comics or whatever. And the cool thing about these screen tones is that they're really easy to just, you can like make your own set, just pick one, let's pick the big dots, and go into grain. Here you can see my pattern, so you can upload your own repeating dot pattern. And here, the scale, you can choose how big the patterns should be. I'll just go and reset my brush. There we go. So it's the same as before. So yeah, that was a very quick introduction to my brush kit. I actually don't want to fill any more in on this video. I just want this to be like the introduction. We can always go through my workflow and how I work with Procreate. Okay, this is the sign that I should stop now. I'm losing the ability to speak. So I'll just sign off now. And at some point I am working on a Procreate guide, how to use Procreate like I do. But it will be some time before I'm finished with it, because there's a lot of filming like this. And as you can imagine, me speaking like this without a script, it's right now speaks for itself. So remember that you can get these brushes for free on my Gumroad. Just type in $0 in the input field and you can get them for free. Good luck with your drawings in Procreate, and I'll see you soon. Okay, thanks. Wait. No real video without you. Oh yeah, I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. We should just end it here.